Your body knows before your mind does. Something has changed in the rhythm of your thoughts. You notice that your muscles are tense, but you don't remember when it started. Your shoulders carry a tension that seems to have set in without asking permission. And that restlessness in your chest appears at the most unexpected moments of the day. It's as if your body is trying to process energy that it can no longer organize on its own. You may have noticed how even simple tasks that were always part of your routine now leave you feeling tired beyond the physical. Your mind works at a fast pace even when you'd like to slow down. This inner turmoil doesn't choose a time to appear. It could be first thing in the morning, when you should be rested, or at the end of the day, just when your body needs peace and quiet the most. The feeling is that something inside you can't find its balance. Many seniors have discovered that certain plants, used specifically and regularly, can communicate directly with the nervous system in a way that the body recognizes and accepts. It is amazing how nature offers substances that help restore that feeling of inner calm that sometimes seems to have been lost. If you recognize this agitation that seems to come from within and doesn't give you a break, write yes in the comments. It could be the first step towards dealing with all of this more lightly. Shortness of breath that doesn't seem to ease and that restlessness that can't be easily explained are not signs to ignore. These sensations are often seen as a part of aging, something natural that happens with time. But the truth is that this discomfort is a warning from your body, an important message that deserves careful attention. It's not just physical or mental exhaustion, but a sign that something in your internal balance is asking for help. When your heart feels heavy and your mind doesn't rest, this may be linked to a persistent state of worry that won't go away on its own. As the years go by, our body can become more sensitive to stimuli that previously went unnoticed, small triggers that trigger a continuous feeling of tension. This reaction is not a weakness or a problem with no way out, but a response from the body and mind that needs to be understood and accepted. Imagine that your nervous system is like an old radio. When everything is fine, the music plays clearly and softly. But sometimes this radio picks up interference, static that disrupts the melody and generates uncomfortable noises. This internal noise is what keeps your body on alert, even when there is no real danger. Your heart races, your shoulders tense, and your breathing becomes shallow. These are signs that the radio is tuned to a constant alarm frequency. The good news is that this interference can be adjusted. There is a way to calm this frequency so that your body and mind can once again find the harmony they deserve. But this only begins when you recognize what is causing this silent agitation and decide to act consciously and carefully. If you have ever felt something like this, type 1 in the comments. If you still have questions, type 5. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. When the body sends subtle signals of tension, it is important to listen carefully, even if they seem like minor everyday discomforts. These sensations indicate that something inside requires attention and a moment to slow down, a pause that can renew internal balance. A simple gesture, which can be done in just 30 seconds, can already begin to transform this scenario. This quick adjustment consists of a gentle movement that promotes an immediate release of weight, a feeling of lightness that invades the body and mind, reducing accumulated stiffness. It is not a definitive solution, but a first concrete step towards regaining comfort and serenity. Clinical studies indicate that this practice, recommended by experienced professionals in the area of mental health, especially psychologists with long experience, brings real and noticeable relief to those who deal with frequent concerns. Have you ever tried taking a moment just for yourself, for this care that seems simple but makes all the difference? Write in the comments. Just for today, I choose to start slowly. Sharing this commitment strengthens the journey and brings together those who face similar challenges. Immediately after this moment, you will notice a warm sensation that envelops your body, a resumption of autonomy over yourself, as if the internal pressure has decreased and the air has returned to circulating more naturally. This short pause brings the freshness of a new beginning, giving your mind space to rest and your body to respond more calmly. Imagine this moment as the first ray of sunlight breaking through the morning mist, slowly illuminating every corner of your being. It is a gentle reunion with your own body, an invitation to listen to what it desires, beginning the journey towards a deeper and more lasting balance. You start to notice something different. Maybe your breathing becomes a little deeper, less pent up, as if your body has finally found a place to breathe. Or perhaps at dawn, that restlessness that used to wake you up with gentle jolts no longer accompanies you, allowing you to wake up more peacefully and easily. This small change may seem subtle, almost imperceptible, but it is your body's first gesture that it is willing to cooperate. Each step taken in this direction, however delicate, is a significant achievement. It is important to recognize the value of these initial signs, as they reveal that your body is listening attentively to your dedication and patience. It is not about rushing, but about respecting the time needed for changes to occur naturally and safely. Imagine this response as a silent conversation between you and your body, a whisper that says, "Thank you for taking care of me, for allowing me this space." This partnership is the basis of the recovery process. You are not alone on this journey. Your body is a valuable ally that, little by little, responds to the care and attention you offer. Recognizing this internal dialogue strengthens the emotional connection and symbolizes the beginning of a path of harmony and serenity. Now, I would like to invite you to share with me. Press 1 if you have already noticed some improvement, or 5 if you feel that you are still at the beginning of this journey. Your participation is essential for us to grow together. And if this content brought clarity to your journey, subscribe to the channel. Each week, we will walk side by side, exchanging lessons and finding more comfort. Your subscription helps to spread this message to other people who are also seeking relief and balance. Let us continue together, now with the gentle awareness of those who already feel the first relief, ready to move towards the next step, where we will explore new ways to deepen this growing well-being. It is common to believe that the small discomforts of everyday life are part of natural aging, but there are silent habits that aggravate mental and emotional restlessness, especially in adulthood. Imagine that daily routine when, upon going to bed, your body feels tired, but your mind does not slow down. Thoughts circulate like waves in the sea, preventing true rest. Often, what goes unnoticed is the frequent use of discrete stimulants, such as coffee in the afternoon or the irregular consumption of sleeping pills, which seem harmless but deeply interfere with internal balance. This behavior, so common among people over 60, generates an invisible cycle of continuous tension. The body, when exposed to these stimuli, keeps the nervous system on constant alert, as if it were always expecting an imminent threat. This sensation is similar to being in a room that is too bright in the middle of the night. The body tries to relax, but the light prevents the eyes from closing completely. As a result, the natural rhythm of sleep becomes fragmented, making it difficult for the brain and muscles to fully regenerate, and cortisol, a hormone linked to stress, remains elevated for longer than it should. It is important to recognize that this trap is not the result of negligence or weakness. Most people have never received clear guidance on how small choices influence the quality of their rest and, consequently, their mental serenity. Therefore, it is common to wake up still tired, with a racing heart, that tight feeling in the chest, and startles at the slightest noise. Confusion and slowness in waking become frequent companions, reinforcing the cycle of anxiety and emotional instability. This silent error, often mistaken for aging things, keeps the body stuck in a constant state of alert, robbing us of the peace that everyone deserves. What if this restlessness that accompanies the nights and days were not just a reflection of age, but the result of a small imbalance that your body tries unsuccessfully to balance. You feel a moment of calm, as if the restlessness has finally given way. Your chest loosens. Your breathing calms down. But does this pause mean that everything is resolved? Often, this feeling of relief is just a temporary respite, not the definitive cure we desire. It is like crossing a bridge that seems solid, but hides invisible cracks beneath the surface. The apparent serenity can hide challenges that have not yet been faced, and discomfort can return when least expected. This oscillation is natural for those who live with persistent internal tensions. The body and mind live in cycles. The nervous system reacts to old stimuli. Breathing patterns are activated without conscious control, and emotional triggers reappear, even after moments of tranquility. Anxiety does not disappear because it wants to, but because the mechanisms that keep it active are still present, waiting to be transformed with care and consistency. It is common to feel frustrated when the feeling of peace suddenly disappears. However, this relapse is not a sign of defeat or weakness. In fact, it is your body asking for more attention, asking you to redouble your care and repeat practices that promote balance. Your body is learning to trust, but it needs time and patience to consolidate the change. Each step, however small, strengthens this trust, and each return of discomfort is an opportunity to start over, not to give up. Sometimes the temporary silence of discomfort does not mean that it has disappeared forever. It simply opens up space for us to realize where it is possible to act with more serenity and attention. This moment, although delicate, is a valuable opportunity to deepen your self-care before restlessness insists on returning. The journey to harmony is not linear, but each moment of pause invites a new, more gentle and persistent look. Even when it seems that the body has found some balance, many older adults maintain a silent pattern that makes it difficult to achieve real and lasting improvement. This subtle movement, such as avoiding any physical or mental effort that could generate temporary discomfort, acts as an invisible barrier in the recovery journey. Clinically, this frequent resistance is linked to the unconscious fear of reliving the feeling of intense agitation or insecurity. The nervous system, especially after the age of 60, tends to remain on alert to stimuli that previously seemed simple. By avoiding any challenge, even small ones, the body reinforces this state of tension, making it difficult to restore emotional and physiological balance. Imagine the body as a garden. If you do not water or prune it regularly, the plants lose strength, weeds grow, and the soil wears away. Thus, the lack of conscious and careful movement allows tensions to accumulate, suffocating the harmony that could flourish. It is important to recognize that this posture of avoiding discomfort is not a personal flaw. Over time, the body learns to protect itself from perceived threats, creating a kind of safe zone where restlessness seems controlled. This mechanism, although understandable, ends up maintaining the cycle of restlessness and fatigue, fueling doubts and a feeling of guilt for not being able to move forward. But this understanding is the first step towards transforming the relationship with these sensations. Instead of demanding sudden changes, the path begins with a gentle look at these unnoticed patterns, embracing the fear and insecurity they carry. What if, instead of running away from tension, it were possible to teach the body to embrace and trust each small change? This idea opens up a new space, still little explored, where true transformation can begin to happen. The progress is real, and you can already feel the improvement, a calm that begins to set in. However, it is at this point that a new, subtle emotional challenge arises that can undermine all the progress achieved. Many people end up getting carried away by premature confidence, believing that the discomfort has disappeared forever. This mistake happens when we reduce our attention to our body's signals, unconsciously returning to old patterns that previously caused restlessness. It is like coming out of a cold and then exposing ourselves to the cold wind. Even with the symptoms alleviated, the body is still fragile and vulnerable to relapses. This behavior can foster a false sense of security, leading to the suspension of practices that sustain serenity. If you have ever experienced that feeling of frustration when you realize that restlessness returns just after a period of calm, know that this is more common than you think. This oscillation does not mean defeat, but rather that your body is signaling the need to increase your attention. The momentary absence of discomfort does not represent a definitive discharge, but rather an invitation to remain constantly vigilant. Your nervous system is opening up a breach, and what you choose to do now can determine the days to come. That's why it's essential to adopt an active prevention mindset. See the calm moments as a chance to consolidate stability, and not as the end of the journey. Think of a wound that seems healed, but still needs a bandage to prevent it from reopening. This continuous care is what strengthens internal balance and prevents regression. This is exactly where the difference between a temporary improvement and a lasting recovery begins to reveal itself. Recognizing this phase is preparing the ground for a genuine and lasting transformation, building a lighter and safer life, step by step. If you've made it this far, it's because you've chosen to pay attention to those sensations that many prefer to ignore. The subtle signals that the body and mind send before they become a scream. This journey isn't easy, but it has already awakened an important transformation within you. Think of your inner turmoil as a bell that rings softly, not to scare you, but to warn you that something needs to be reorganized. This silent discomfort is an invitation to look at yourself more lovingly, understanding that restlessness is not a punishment, but a messenger that wants to guide your steps towards balance. On days when serenity seems to prevail, your conscious attitude makes all the difference. The active and gentle care that you dedicate to your body and mind creates a solid foundation so that waves of anxiety become less frequent and intense. Remember, what you do when your mind is calm determines how it will respond in moments of tension. If this message touched your heart, comment "calm down" and share your desire to move forward with lightness and attention. And tell me by pressing 1 if you have already realized that these difficult moments bring lessons, or 5 if you still feel that restlessness dominates your day-to-day. Sometimes a small gesture of care is enough for the whole body to begin to trust you again, allowing serenity to blossom gently, step by step. You began this journey perhaps feeling an invisible weight, a silent restlessness that seemed to grow without explanation. Now, at the end of this path, your gaze upon yourself has become lighter, more attentive, and full of hope. Your body has always spoken, even when silence seemed to dominate. Today, you have found the listening that was missing, that gentle attention that transforms discomfort into care. There are no tricks or magic formulas. True relief comes from constant presence, from daily respect for each signal that your body sends. What it really wanted was partnership, a helping hand that understands and welcomes. Imagine your mind as a garden that has been covered for a long time by the mist of restlessness. Little by little, with patience and affection, this mist dissipates, revealing sprouts of serenity that begin to bloom. Just like the parched earth that receives the first drops of rain, your being revives with the confidence of someone who knows that a new beginning is possible at every moment. Allow yourself to experience this rebirth. May each gentle gesture, each conscious breath, be like the sun that warms a cold morning, inviting you to walk with lightness and firmness. Your body is a home that deserves care and attention, a temple where calm can settle and remain. If this message touched your heart, share this moment with someone who also needs to find this peace. And if you want to continue this gentle reconnection with your body and mind, sign up. Here, every word is a hug, and you will never be alone on this journey.